Toronto Police Association President Jon Reid has spent the last 36 years in policing and 4 years at the helm of the T.P.A. He recently announced that he will be retiring. Jon Reid joins us now in studio. Let's talk about, wow, a career 36. First of all, congratulations, because to spend 36 years within one organization and to do so much, that does take a lot out of someone. So congratulations on that announcement.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for having me today.
Let's talk about the timing of this. You announced this not long ago, just in the recent couple weeks. Why now?
So for me, I had to hold off on making the announcement because of bargaining. So the bargaining process was continuing. It wasn't until the bargain actually broke down and we're now forced into binding arbitration and the actual election was coming up. I was ready, to retire after 36 years and kind of move on and see what's next. But I think it's the appropriate time. I think we're in a good place as far as bargaining goes, considering everything that's going to be going on in the city.
Let's talk about the bargaining right now for your 8,000 plus members. This has been ongoing for some time, and a bit of a sense of frustration, I know, on your end as well. I know you probably would have loved to have this wrapped up prior to your departure. What would be the next position, and why is there so much up in the air with these negotiations that something can't be settled right away? Like, what should the public know about?
Well, I think they need to understand that policing in Toronto is incredibly difficult and challenging. Here in Toronto, we're basically the center of the universe for Canada, for anything that goes on. Our members are under scrutiny 24 hours a day, 365. As everyone sees, they're constantly being videotaped, challenged. So I would describe it as a very challenging environment. But our members rise to the occasion each and every day. And I think when you start looking at the comparative compensation, unfortunately, areas like Peel, OPP, they're being recognized for the work they do each and every day. But here in Toronto, for whatever reason, the City and Police Services Board wasn't ready to basically agree with us as far as what our value is. And they are pushing us off into binding arbitration, which to me is terrible.
Yeah. So when could we see some development?
So hopefully in the latter part of November, we're going to sit down with the new board, the new president will sit down with the Police Services Board and go through that process. Okay. And I think we're in a good place, and hopefully that will the arbitrator will also see that.
Now, this will be in the hands of your successor, because when we look at the timeline, voting begins to find your successor. And a week today, we should know who that is. But until that time, you are staying put. You are hanging on for that transition. Let's talk about some of the challenges that you have seen in your last 4 years at the helm. You've mentioned, crime rate. We've talked about political protests that we've seen a lot of officers attending within the last year. So I'm sure there is a lot of unfinished business that will sit with you, even if you are physically stepping away. The day-to-day with police officers, we see it every day in the headlines. We are covering a story, several stories that involve police. Can you paint a picture for what it really is like for a Toronto police officer on the streets of Toronto today?
I would say it's incredibly frustrating a lot of the time. It's a very difficult job. We end up being caught in the middle all the time. I'll take the protests. Over the last, since October 7th, we've done over 1,000 protests. And it doesn't seem what our members do. Either side, someone's angry with us. They're not happy about the way we're policing. But I will point out that our folks have done a great job. They've managed some of the most difficult, I think, abusive crowds over these last 8-9 months. And they keep rising to the occasion. And this is why it's important, I think, for the citizens in Toronto to come out and support the police officers. And more importantly, and I will say this again because I always do, I'd like to see the mayor and city council come out and commend the officers for the job they're doing. Particularly now, since we have October 7th coming around again, I think it's critically important that our mayor, that city council come out and denounce any criminality. If people want to come out and protest, absolutely. Our members are there each and every day to support that protest. But also I think the mayor needs to come out and tell people you have to be respectful to our police officers, be respectful to your fellow citizens, and make sure you do it safely.
On a personal level, I want to ask you this. Of course, people step away for several reasons. What is it about stepping away from, as you mentioned, this has been tough day in, day out for you. What has been a guiding factor for you? Is it family? Is it having some downtime? Is it just a change? What is it for you, Jon?
I think for me, it's just time. I think a lot of police officers will say, well, why are you retiring now? It's just time. And I've spent a lot of time, particularly over the last 4 years, away from my family. You're out all hours of the night, 365, 24/7. And that's kind of been my career as well. So, I'm still young enough and mobile enough. I can go out and enjoy a bit of time away with my family, do a little bit of traveling. And that's what we're looking forward to doing.
What is next for you then? Other than what you just mentioned there, is there something in the works or it's a wait and see?
I think we'll wait and see. Yeah, I have nothing planned. There's no big reveal today. But I think we'll just kind of wait and see what comes along. But I think for now, I want to focus on, wrapping things up at the association, assisting with bargaining any way I can, because that's the most important function that our association performs for our members.
Okay. T.P.A. President Jon Reid, we appreciate you taking the time with us today, and for the years as well. I know you've been very good with being available for the media, so we always appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you.